Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review. I'm looking at this, the Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi driving iron. Now, if you know Mizuno, you'll know that technically this is still the current model. It was released in January 2024 because Mizuno do their irons basically every other year. So you get the Pro lineup, which is, well, it was in 2024, and then you have the JPX lineup this year. Next year it'll be the new Pro lineup, etc., where this will be replaced. So normally, yes, this review would be coming out on a Friday because all my brand new clubs that I do, every now and again, I don't do them weekly, but they do come out on Fridays when I do. Every other review, so for older equipment, etc., do come out on a Sunday like this one has, which does happen every week. But the reason releasing this on Sunday is, number one, it has been out for over a year, so you can see the second-hand market, how it's dealing with the second-hand market, which is more what Sunday is about. You know, Sunday reviews are really about that second-hand market, really, and saving you guys some money by picking up golf clubs that, let's be honest, still perform just as good as anything else. So, you know, it has been out for a long while, so you can get some deals with this on the second-hand market. And also, I'm not going to lie, I've got so much stuff to review. It is crazy. You know, we've hit the 1,000 subscribers mark recently, so thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you're new and you want weekly reviews plus a few other videos, well, thrown in, do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. But I mean, we've got Dynapower fairway woods, the new Dynapower driver, which I can't actually see. It's definitely in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. You know, brand new ping putters. You know, we've got so much reviews coming up, so I thought I'd stick this one out on the Sunday, be a little bit sneaky this week, but don't worry, next week we are going back to some second-hand bargain sort of stuff. I've got a wedge which I think could really save yourself some money from a big brand. So as I mentioned, do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on that next week, because that could potentially save yourself some money in the second-hand market. But anyway, back onto this. So excited about this. I love Mizuno as a brand. Always want to try one of their Fli-Hi irons. Pretty much every year, apart from this year, I've actually played Mizuno's. This year, I've been sort of a bit determined not to play them, just to try something new, to be honest, because I do love their irons. Love their fairway woods and their drivers as well. You know, they really do produce some good stuff nowadays. Drivers a couple of years ago were a bit iffy, but they definitely caught up with the big guys recently. But yeah, you know, I never tried the Fli-Hi, so go back to this club. So I really wanted to give it a go because I do like a driving iron. You know, I normally play a driving iron, my 4. So rather than a 4 iron, it's normally a driving iron or maybe a 4 hybrid. At the moment, I do have a 4 hybrid in the bag, but I'm definitely thinking of taking that out for a driving iron. So picked up this. It is a 3 iron, so potentially I would change it and buy a 4 if I did like it. So we'll discuss that at the end of the video. But anyway, as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this, let's be honest, beautiful looking driving iron. Come back here, go through all the technology that's in this club, get down to the range, going to throw some figures at you from a very cold winter's day. Yes, at the moment I have the sunshine in my office. It's very much in spring when I've been filming this. Well, the rest of this video, but when I actually tried this club, it was in winter. Tried it a few times over winter and it was very, very cold. So the swing wasn't quite there, but still, you know, that's the thing you need to be testing. If you're playing golf all year round, like I do, you know, you need to be testing it in the bad weather as also the good weather, because let's be honest, I'm in the UK, I'm probably going to be playing most of it in the bad weather. It's rare that we see the sun over here. But anyway, so yeah, so on a very cold day, so the figures, not exactly what I'd expect if I was hitting it today, but I will discuss that as always. And we'll come back here for the ACS Golf Scale, which I'll go through that with you and give you my overall thoughts about this club. So there you go. All right, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go. Not a bad looking club. You know, looks beefy though. Not what driving irons do, to be fair. Looks like the Mizuno Pro 245, but even more beefed up, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just means that hopefully this will have a lot more forgiveness than your sort of 245s, which I'm guessing a lot of people would play in their sort of longer irons. You know, the idea of this is to bridge the gap between that 245 and the hybrids to give you still workability, but a little bit more forgiveness than the 245s, and obviously, you know, more workability than the hybrid. It's to bridge that gap. So they haven't done a bad job with the looks, I don't think. But let's get into the technology that is in this club. So, Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi Tour Long Iron. So, the Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi has become a fixture with the majority of Mizuno Tour players. An easy launching, powerful long iron replacement that fits into their bags to go along with the Mizuno Pro 241s, which is their blades, 243, which is sort of elite cavity backs, and a 245, which is their hollow construction iron, so players distance irons. So, full iron set. With Assassin now fully upgraded to 4335 plus nickel chromy for elevated ball speed. So there you go. Going fully into this technology. So we have an internal tungsten weighting. So 12 grams of weight low in the head for elevated launch compared to traditional long irons. So literally behind this face here and here, you've got 23 grams of tungsten. You know, not a bad thing. Tungsten's pretty much in all irons to help with forgiveness and to help with launch. Is a good way to weight it. You've got nickel chromy 4335 plus hollow body construction, so utilizing a heat-treated multi-thickness face for elevated average ball speed with a more pliable body and bendable hosel. Obviously that's great, get you into your lofts, maybe get this adjusted if you need to, you know, but it's going to help with that feel. Offset face weld, so placing the weld line inside the upper face gorge allowed a thinner top line on the bottom edge. The weld line is back from the face, allowing greater flex and ball speed from lower on the face. Great, adds to forgiveness. So they've changed this hosel with the club to aid for that. Harmonic impact technology, so applied to best match the vibration patterns Mizuno tool players identify with a soft muscle back feel. So, you know, a lot of these clubs nowadays, because let's be honest, we have reached the max of technology. We've reached it for years, so they can't really change that much. So they're looking now for sound and feel to make it even more appealing to players, to differentiate from their older models. You know, if you don't like the sound of it, well, here we go. We've got something that sounds even better. So that's how they're sort of changing things at the moment. A lot of more brands are looking more into the sound of their clubs. You know, before they just wanted them to perform, but now, you know, they want to sound good as long as, well, and look good and feel good, etc. So moving on, increase bounce angle, so increase by degree for improved turf interaction. So that leading edge there, can't complain about that. Black iron finish, so fully blacked out plating creates the illusion of more compact profile. And I like the black look, and I like the fact that they haven't made this black. I just think if you make the face black, you know, it can really mark off quite easily, regardless of how good the finish is. If you're hitting it all the time, it's going to mark up. You're going to lose that black finish. By having that silver line there, number one, yes, it keeps that sort of, you know, so you don't lose that black finish. But number two, it just helps with lining the ball up. You know, if you've got that sort of different finish there, normal finish, you know where that ball needs to be. If it's black across the face, you know, and you've not got that much confidence, you might lose where you want that ball to be. So having that, I do like, to be fair, I do like having two different colours, especially with longer irons, you know, to put that ball right there. So that's a cool thing. Moving on to specs, so you can get this in 2, 3 or 4, right hand and left hand, all the way 2 to 4, which is quite nice. A lot of brands might not do sort of a left hand for some of their models, but this does it all the way through, which is cool. Loft goes from 16.5 degrees on the 2 iron, 19 degrees on the 3 iron, and 21.5 degrees on a 4 iron. So not bad lofted, to be fair. 3 iron, I'd say that's pretty much right nowadays. You know, hybrids are 13, so yeah, same with this. You know, 4 iron, 21.5, not the strongest, but yes, you know, maybe, you know, be close to that 24 if you were going to be really traditional about it, but not the end of the world. It changes the lie angle. Bounce is actually 0 on 2 and 3, and then they make a bounce, so 1 degree on the 4, which is not bad. So yeah, they do think about it. It's quite nice. But there you go, and obviously load of premium shaft options when it comes down to it. I could rattle through these, but you know, you've got all the main brands there because that's what Mizuno do. You know, it's a premium club, you're going to get premium components with it. So there you go, guys. There's all the technology that is in this beauty. Now let's go to the range on that freezing cold day where I could barely swing a club, let alone, well, hit a ball, to be fair. Swing speed was very low on that day, but in the end of the day, I'm quite happy with the results because of that. You know, I appreciate that my swing speed was not where it should be on the day, so I was really happy with the results that this was giving me, to be honest. But yeah, so let's throw some figures at you. Let's get down to the range and then we'll come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit. So here I am down at the range on a very, very, very cold Wednesday. It's about 2 degrees, I think at the time, which was about, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So absolutely freezing. So obviously I wasn't swinging well. The ball wasn't going to go any distance really because how cold it was. But, you know, let's get into those numbers anyway. So on average, I had a carry of 182 yards, total distance 199 yards, ball speed 125 miles per hour, launch angle 13, height 57 feet. So actually really happy with those numbers. You know, I know that if it was summer and I was swinging better, you know, definitely would get up to that sort of 215, 220 mark that I'd expect from this type of club. I don't think it's going to blow me away for numbers, but it's definitely going to get to where I need this type of club to go. So really happy with that. You know, longest on the day was 205, total distance to carry 192 yards. You know, I would take that on the day like today. Well, the day when I tested this, you know, it was fantastic. Things to note with the club, really easy to get up in the air, so I was really happy with that. You know, did help launch that ball up, even though it's, you know, 3 iron and 19 degrees, it was launching up nicely into the air. Workability wise, you know, definitely have more workability than the hybrid, which is good. Feel wise, it was definitely one of the best feeling driving irons I've ever felt. Out the middle, it was fantastic. If you didn't quite hit the middle though, or, you know, hit a really bad shot on it, it did hurt the hands, especially on a cold day today, which I quite liked, to be honest. Here are the figures in the table, and just continuing that chat about, you know, the feel of the club. You know, I do like it when you get, you know, miss hit and it really hurts the hands, because you know where you've miss hit it, you can adjust for it next shot, which I think is a great aspect of this club. Into those figures, you know, average 182, total distance 199, really solid considering the weather. Longest 192, total distance 205, again really solid with the weather, really happy with the carry of this club. Shortest, which was a bit of a blade, you know, 170 total distance, you know, 195 total distance, you know, ball speed 126 miles per hour, so it does protect the ball speed on those lower hits, so really performed really well. So there you go. I'm very thankful we are in spring now. Just watching that makes me feel cold, to be honest. But anyway, definitely had a little bit of a headwind in the face as well, did not help, but not the end of the world, to be fair. You know, carry on average 182 yards, you know, total distance 199 yards, definitely not 299 yards, 199 yards, you know, ball speed 125 miles per hour, launch angle 13, happy with that from the 3 iron, to be fair. You know, height 57 feet, you know, when I did manage to really get it, you know, got launch angle up to 15 degrees, you know, carry 192, you know, total distance 205. So really happy with those numbers on a very difficult day, to be fair. And I definitely know if it was in summer, or if I was testing it today, I'd be getting up to where I'd expect a 3 iron to go. I don't think this is going to be a rocket ship. It's just not going to be, but it's not supposed to be from Mizuno. You know, they want it to go a certain distance. They want it to give you, you know, a certain feel. You know, Mizuno aren't all about racking up huge distances. It's all about control when you think of a Mizuno iron. Maybe their hot metals are starting to go that sort of really strong, lofted distance. But, you know, the rest of them definitely the pro idea, you know, so give you a little bit of help for distance, but not be stupidly long that suddenly you've got to take clubs out the top of your bag, sort of thing. So yeah, relatively happy with it. So going into the ACS Golf Scale now. So remember, we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now for me, distance, I'm giving this 3.5 out of 5. On that day, it was a tricky day. I was testing drivers, testing a few things. I wasn't getting good distance with any of them because it was so cold, because I wasn't swinging well. So I'm really happy with those results. It might not sound like it, you know, and reading other reviews about this club, the distance on this is solid. It's not mind-blowing. It's not going to be the longest thing in your bag. Well, personally, I don't think it's going to be the longest thing in your bag. Some of you guys might have tried this already and it could be the longest thing. But for me, it's not a massive rocket ship. I don't want it to be. I want it to be a Mizuno that I can play with, that I can move about, that I'm going to get great feel of. I'm going to have decent enough forgiveness. You know, I want it to be what it is, you know, a long iron replacement, you know, that sort of, not game improvement, but that, you know, that driving iron. I want it to be that. I don't want it to be as long as a hybrid. I don't want it to be etc. I want it to be just that, a long iron replacement, and that's exactly what this club is. So really happy with that. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Really pleased with it. Feel, 5 out of 5. One of the best feeling driving irons I've ever tested for this channel. I tested the Friction Mark II, which is maybe close to it. You know, I've felt some really good ones over the years, but for me, at the moment, this is one of the best feeling. Feels fantastic off the face. Not powerful, not whatever, but just soft, and you know, I know where my miss hits are. I feel like I'm in control of the ball. You know, it does feel a little bit springy. You know, it just feels really, really nice. And I like the sound as well, which is a plus. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for that. If you're looking for a club that you want to enjoy the feel of, you know, still get decent distance, you know, Mizuno is the way to go. You know, as they say, nothing feels like a Mizuno. And I can vouch for that. Irons feel fantastic. Fairway woods, drivers, you know, they all feel really, really good, and this is no exception. So pleased with that. Moving on to looks, I feel like I might be a little bit harsh by this, but I've given it a 3.5 out of 5. I love the black finish. I love what they're trying to do with it, but for me, it's just too chunky. You know, I actually prefer when you go really chunky, sort of driving up, and this is actually less chunky than the previous model, by the way, so just be heads up for that. But when you sort of get these sort of clubs and they are a little bit chunky, I just sort of, I just see that and I just think problems. You know, if I want to hit this out the rough or something like that, it's for me with this sort of sole, it's more of off the fairway, off, you know, you're sort of, well, off the tee, which isn't a bad thing. But then I'm like, well, why don't I put a hybrid in the bag, which is a little bit more versatile, perhaps out that rough, even though technically this is a smaller sole. I know I have sort of contradicted myself here, but I prefer the look of a hybrid or a smaller driving iron over this. It's just a little bit too chunky for me. I don't know why, it's just my personal preference. A lot of you guys will be watching this and not thinking anything of it, but for me, it's just a little bit too chunky. You know, the Friction Mark II that I mentioned there is a lot smaller. The Ping Eye crossover is a lot smaller. You know, still same blade lengths, but just not as chunky. You know, and that's why they made it black, to make it look a little bit smaller, but not the end of the world. But that's why I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. And I feel a little bit harsh for doing that, but it's just not my type of shape. It's just too big for me well, just in general, just a little bit too chunky. Moving on to forgiveness, 3 out of 5 for forgiveness. You know, I thought it was very good on a cold winter's day. You know, lowest was only 195, you know, 170 carry, you know, really came off the bottom of the face there, and, you know, it only launched 10, you know, still got the ball speed up to 100. Well, actually got this ball speed up even higher, 126 to be fair. But, you know, I was really, really happy with it, to be fair, when it came down to that. You know, good solid forgiveness for a driving iron. Is it going to be as forgiving as a hybrid? No, it is not. Is it more forgiving than your general long iron? Yes, it is. So yeah, 3 out of 5, solid numbers for that. You know, if you want a driving iron, if you're good enough for a driving iron, this has definitely got enough forgiveness in you, well, for you and more, to be honest. So yeah, 3 out of 5, happy for that. Now on to price. So price, as I mentioned, this is technically still a new club, but it has been out for a while on the second-hand market. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5. It's where exactly it should be, to be honest. I don't think you're going to get a deal on it. Yeah, it's just where it is. You know, on eBay, I'm seeing them go for £130. You know, it was around $160, maybe a little bit lower than that. Second-hand stores, you're sort of looking at £160, which is sort of roughly around that $200 mark. And then brand new, you're looking at sort of £199. In the UK, that's the cheapest I've seen it, but normally they're around $229. And in the US, I'm seeing around $249. So it is, they are where they are, sort of thing. They are exactly where I would expect this type of club to be. It is a Mizuno, it is a popular driving iron. It feels fantastic. It does exactly what, you know, 3.5 for distance and 3 for forgiveness is exactly something I'd put in my bag for a driving iron, to be fair. You know, if I was going to take my 4 hybrid out and I, you know, decided actually, you know, I'm over the size of how chunky this looks, I want to play this would be going in a bag. It's giving me exactly what I want from a driving iron. You know, you can work it as well. It feels great. So there, yeah. So it is exactly where it is. So 2.5 out of 5. So overall thoughts about the Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi from 2024. If you're looking for one of the best feeling driving irons out there, give this a go. Solid distance and solid forgiveness. If you want to rocket ship, go down the tailor-made route. I generally would if you want ultimate forgiveness. I don't know if you could beat this, to be fair. Maybe the eye crossover might have a little bit. No, I'd say if you're looking for driving irons and you want maximum forgiveness, go and look at a hybrid. Don't look at a driving iron. They are still just irons. You know, go and look at that hybrid. You know, that's where you're going to find maximum forgiveness in. But yeah, overall, really happy with it. My only issue with it, it's just a little bit too chunky. For me, got all the cubs in the way at the back there. Just a little bit too chunky. Not the end of the world, but I'd just prefer it to be a little bit slimmer. So there you go. Maybe next year they will. Maybe they'll make it even smaller next year, because they have been doing that over the past couple of years. Because don't get me wrong, even like the old Ping eye crossovers would start really big, and the recent one was actually slimmed down quite a bit there. So there you go. But yeah, overall, fantastic driving iron. Definitely worth a go if you're looking for a brand new one this year. If you're looking at the model before it, still really good. I haven't tried that one myself, but do be aware it's even chunkier than this. So just be aware of that if you don't like a chunky iron. But yeah, really nice and definitely one of the best, if not the best, driving iron I've ever tested. All right, guys, now I hope you enjoyed my review of the Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi driving iron 2024. If you did, do remember to give this video a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel as well and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on the weekly reviews and all this crazy stuff that I have happening behind me. What is that? Oh, it's Black Ops Fairywood. Trying to work out what that was then. Don't even know what I've got to review for you guys. But yeah, you know, you don't want to miss out on any of that stuff. Got some really cool versus videos coming up as well. And also do comment down below, you know, have you tried a Mizuno Hi-Fli driving iron? You know, if you have, do let me know in the comments down below, you know, what are your thoughts? Is it still in the bag? Have you replaced it with something else? You know, is there another driving iron out there I should be testing for the channel? You know, love to know, you know, down in the comments down below, as I've mentioned. All right, guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf review. All right, see you then.